Hello, welcome to the course of Computer Networks. So today we are going to discuss about TCP/IP layer model. So in this class we are going to discuss about the internet working models, and then we will discuss about TCP/IP layer in detail. So starting with the very first, that is, what is internet working model. So here the internet working models are used to make communication between two devices flexible. So before the invention of this model, the computer communicate with other computer only if they are from the same manufacturer. That means if the two computers that wants to communicate, then they must be manufactured by the made by the same manufacturer. Let's discuss about the TCP/IP. So TCP/IP protocol suite. Here the TCP/IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So TCP/IP protocol suite is a collection of protocols that define the internet, and it was developed by Department of Defense Project Research Agency known as DARPA. So the main aim of this model is that this model will provide end-to-end data communication, and here it also specifies how the data is packetized, addressed, transmitted, routed and received in the network. So it is a project of network interconnection to connect remote machines also. Now let's discuss about its layer. The TCP/IP is a two-layer structure, that is higher layer and the lower layer. Here the higher layer represents Transmission Control Protocol, which manages the assembling of messages into smaller packets that are transmitted over the internet, whereas the lower layer represents Internet Protocol, which adds the IP or the MAC address to packet so that it gets to the right destination. It means the higher layer is working on converting the messages into the smaller packet, whereas lower layer is working on adding the IP or the MAC address to these packets. So TCP/IP uses the client-server model of communication, in which a client user requests and server provides a service to the internet. Service in the network. Next, the TCP/IP protocol suite consists of 5 layers. The first one is application layer, then is transport layer, next is network or the internet layer, data link layer, and the last one is physical layer or the network interface layer. So here each layer in TCP/IP model correspond to the one or more layers of 7 layer of OSI model, that is Open System Interconnection model. We will discuss about this model in our next class. So here this is the diagram of this model, TCP/IP model. This is the application layer, transport layer, network or internet layer, data link layer and the physical layer. So application layer is using the protocol like HTTP protocol, SMTP protocol, FTP protocols. So it uses this protocol to make the unit known as data unit known as messages, and it doesn't use any of the addressing here. Next, at the transport layer, it uses the protocol TCP or the UDP protocol, and it converts the message into the segments or the datagram and add the port numbers to these segments or datagram. Next, at the network or the internet layer, it uses the internet protocol to make these data units segments or datagrams into the packet, and it adds IP address to these packets. At data link layer, it uses Ethernet or Wi-Fi protocols, where it converts packets into the frames and it adds MAC addresses to these frames. Whereas at the physical layer, like or wire or wireless sending these frames, it converts the frames into bits and it sends over to the network. So this is the working of these all layers. Let's discuss about these layer in detail. So starting with the very first layer, that is the application layer. So here the application layer provides interface between the application and the protocol. It represents ability to access the services of other layer, as well as it defines the protocols that application use to exchange data. So the most widely known application layer protocols are HTTP, FTP, SMTP and Telnet. So here the hypertext transfer protocol, that is HTTP, is used to transfer files that make up the web pages, Whereas FTP protocol, file transfer protocol, is used for file transfer. SMTP, that is simple mail transfer protocol, it is used for the transfer of mail messages and the attachments. And here Telnet, that is a terminal emulation protocol, it is used for logging on remotely to network host. So the example of the application layer are web browsing, video conferencing, and the smartphone applications. Next layer is transport layer. So here it is also known as host to host transport layer. The transport layer is responsible for end-to-end delivery of data packet. Here the protocol of transport layers are TCP and UDP. So it performs functions such as multiplexing, segmenting, and splitting of data. And transport layer add header information to the data and arrange the packets to be sent in the sequence. So this is the working of the transport layer, and it uses two protocols, TCP and UDP, and that is transmission control protocol and user datagram protocol. Next is the network layer. So here the network layer performs basic functions such as addressing, packaging, and routing of data packets, and it is also known as internet layer. This layer holds the whole architecture together and helps the packet to travel independently to the destination. So the protocol here used at the network layer are IP, ARP, and ICMP. So here the IP is Internet Protocol, which is responsible for IP addressing, routing, and fragmentation and reassembling of packets. Whereas ARP is the Address Resolution Protocol, it is responsible for the resolution of IP addresses to the Network Interface Layer address, that is MAC address. Whereas Internet Control Message Protocol, that is ICMP, it is responsible for reporting error to the unsuccessful delivery of the IP packets. So these are the protocols that are used at the network layer. Next is data link layer. This layer performs functions such as data framing, addressing, and error detection and correction. So here data framing means encapsulating data messages into frames that are sent over the network at the physical layer. Then addressing means adding MAC address with data messages, and error detection and correction means it handles error that occur at the lower level of the network stack by using CRC method, that is cyclic redundancy check. Next is the last layer, that is physical layer. Here it is also known as a network interface layer and network access layer. So here the protocols are used to connect host to host and network to network. This layer is responsible for sending and receiving TCPIP packets on the network media, and these include LAN technology and WAN technology. So physical layer is about wired and wireless connection on which we are sending the data packets. So this is all about TCP/IP model. Thank you.